Could you describe in detail a particular scenario or incidents where you utilized your own philosophy on leadership? You had shared that with me previously, but why don't you share it with the audience?
When I first ended up in Africa with the Combined Joint Task Force Horn of Africa, like many people, you don't know what to expect.
Right.
And I was 39 years old, kind of maybe a medium-sized fish in a medium-sized pond. I mean, it's all subjective how you look at it.
Sure.
But that's in Louisville. And I had an expectation that would be the same when I entered my unit in Africa. I became a part of this unit, and it was not the case. I went from being Lukas Dwelly to Lieutenant Dwelly, and on the bigger food chain, in a headquarters unit, there are hundreds of Lieutenant Dwellys. But the problem is there's more than higher-ranking individuals. So I had a really difficult time wrapping my head around to my environment.
Okay.
And I think the organizational chart was maybe 12 people above me to the 2-star commanding general.
Okay.
So once I realized that kind of this is a challenge for me, I've got to figure this out, or I'm going to survive, not thrive. I started building relationships with individuals. I started figuring out how I could be indisposable to them. I worked longer. I was in on important meetings and decisions, and I just made myself indispensable. And I kind of learned how to play the game, and that's maybe overused a lot, but I figured out who to talk to, who to go to, who to if I needed something to get done, who was that individual that I could go, and then they could come to me. So about halfway through the deployment, we were working some missions in South Sudan, and I was a part of that the intel team. I'm an intelligence officer,
right? And
my mission there was I was in charge of all of our overhead surveillance for this particular task force, and so I made myself indispensable. And South Sudan happened, so it was kind of a perfect storm for me in the sense that individuals needed me, and I had built up a lot of capital within the various kind of teams in this unit. So it went from when I first stepped on board, maybe I was reporting to 12 people. About halfway through, it was maybe down to 5 or 6. And finally, when I left in February, it was 2 people.
Yeah.
The J2, who's the head of intelligence, and the 2-star that owns the mission.
Wow.
And I had to humble myself in a great way that I never thought I would. I had to realize that no one cared about Lukas Dwelly from Louisville. No one cared about my CV walking in there, because there's a lot of sharp people in the military from degrees and letters behind their name. But that uniform's an equalizer, and the rank structure's an equalizer. And it took me a little bit longer than it should have to wrap my head around that, Kirt.
Did you talk with that to other family members that had served in the military to get advice on that, or did you just kind of evolve on site, so to speak?
Captain Mike Lambert was a very good resource. Mike and I have met a couple of times, but we write each other about a letter a week, handwritten letters a week for the last maybe 3 years.
It's pretty impressive in this day and age.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I mean, handwritten letters, Mr. Jones will tell you that,
yeah.
But a handwritten letter means everything. And it's you pause for a few moments and you think about what you want to say and what's the purpose. And so I'd written back and forth to Mike a couple times, and actually had a phone call with him from Africa. And he gave me some great insight and really challenged me and pushed me and knocked me down a few more pegs when I thought I couldn't go much lower, and I was able to build myself back. And
that's great.
I use that story to illustrate, I had to figure out something. I had to look in the mirror very quickly, and who am I and who do I want to be here? What's my brand going to be in Africa? Not only from a professional vantage point in the military, but also we're talking about lives.
Absolutely.
And how am I going to lead my team and help be impactful to them?